In this video, we're going to look at sending automated appointment reminders. Scheduling an appointment with someone is useless unless the appointment actually occurs. We can improve our chances of the appointment occurring by sending automated reminders leading up to the appointment date. So in this video, we're going to be building a workflow that can easily be operated after a user has put the scheduled appointment in their appropriate system of existence. So maybe it's an online calendar, offline calendar, mobile device, whatever. So in this video, we're going to specifically look at setting up the campaign model, configuring the internal form, and then writing the emails. So making two assumptions here. I'm assuming that you already have a custom date type field for the scheduled appointment, as well as a custom text type field for the appointment time. So that's what we're assuming. Two custom fields, a date and a text one. So assuming that, we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with our internal form, which is where we're actually going to put in the date and time that someone has an appointment. And then, of course, the appointment confirmation and reminder. So this is the model. Really simple, but highly effective. So let's go ahead and look at this internal form here. So we want to make sure that this form has at least the first name and the email as required. And we're going to provide some context for the internal user here, letting them know what this is all about here. So we'll use the same name as the form. And then grab a little paragraph snippet just to provide some context here. So use this form to send automated reminders leading up to a scheduled appointment. We'll go ahead and pop a line break in here and center it. And there you go. Next, we're going to add the actual date and time fields here. So under our field snippets, we're going to grab an other snippet. And this is where we're going to grab our appointment date. So I do have an appointment time and an appointment date. And of course, this is required because that's the whole point of the form. When are we scheduling an appointment? So we make sure that one's marked as ready, and then we're going to do the same thing with the appointment time. And again, this is required. And now our internal form is done. So we can mark this as ready. Back out to the campaign here. Inside our sequence, we're going to have an appointment confirmation. And then we're going to use this field timer to wait until the appointment is closer and then send them a reminder. So let's go ahead and open up this first email and quickly write it out. It's a transactional email because it's basically just confirming that someone booked an appointment with you. So for the subject line, we can say something like confirmation, your appointment for, and now this is where you'd put in the appointment date and time. At time. And then the email is, again, nice, transactional, super friendly. Hello, contact first name. Thank you so much for booking an appointment with me. I'll talk to you on date at time. And then, in the meantime, if you have any questions, please reply. Have a great day of the week. Again, obscuring the automation a little bit. And then, of course, we can pop in the owner's name here. So we're also going to want to remember that this email should be coming from the person's owner. And then there you go. Now it'll make sense. So there you go. Nice, simple, transactional email, basically just confirming that we've booked an appointment. And of course, you can put whatever information you need in here, phone calls, links to stuff, addresses. So now for this timer here, we're going to have this wait until 1 day before the appointment date, and specifically the year in the field here. We want it to go out 1 day before the actual date of it. And we're going to say do this at 8 a.m. And now we're going to write the appointment reminder. And to save some time here, I'm just going to clone that first one. And we're going to modify it because it's very similar to this one, to the first email, in that it's transactional. So our appointment tomorrow at time. So in this case, we can specifically say good morning, because we know this is going out in the morning. And thanks again for booking an appointment with me. I'm excited to talk to you tomorrow at blank. In the meantime, just hit reply, and this can be in a see you tomorrow. So as you can see, again, it's basically the exact same email as last time, just, hey, we'll see you tomorrow. And again, put whatever other information you need in here, phone numbers, things like that. And that's basically it. And now we can go ahead and publish this campaign. So now, when somebody submits this lead scheduled appointment internal form, the system will send an immediate confirmation email and then schedule an email reminder for the morning before the appointment. Now, although it's not going to work in all cases, keeping a low-key friendly tone for these emails can encourage a conversation before the appointment. If the emails look or sound too automated, it's not going to be an enjoyable experience. To help with appointment stick rates, include appointment-specific instructions or other resources that would be helpful in the initial confirmation email. And then we can get really fancy by tracking click behavior on those resources with a link click goal and provide a more intimate pre-appointment experience. So for example, if we have a resource in that first email, so let's say it's a pre-appointment worksheet, we can deliver that in the confirmation email, and if they never download it, they get the reminder as normal. But if they do download it, then of course we can have a what do you think email, and then the reminder here. So in fact, actually, we can log back in real quickly. So if we want to track this resource, let's say that it's a download pre-appointment worksheet. If they do download it off this first email, of course they're not going to get the day before reminder here. So what we can do is we can actually make a duplicate of this guy. And now we can say, what do you think? And reminder. So we're delivering a resource in the appointment confirmation, and then if they download it, then we can send an email that basically says, we would break it out like this. We would still have the normal appointment reminder that we've already done, and then we can inject a short delay, or no delay. You can play around with this. I would do it something like, no delay, and then run any day at, like, I don't know, 7:30 a.m. the contact's time zone, just something like that. And then this is kind of what do you think, following up on that resource they downloaded, and then of course they have the normal appointment date one. So that's one way we can enhance that model. Now this is actually where voice broadcasts can come in handy. These can definitely help with appointment stick rates if they're used strategically. They can also be a very handy reminder when someone needs to bring certain items to a meeting. So for example, on our appointment confirmation here, we can also go ahead and what we can actually do, save ourselves some time here since we've already configured this timer, is let's make a duplicate of this, and let's have this go out at let's say 9 a.m. So 1 hour after we send the email, we can now go ahead and incorporate a voice broadcast. So basically, the morning of, they would get the appointment reminder email, and then an hour later, we can play around with it if you really want to have fun with the messaging and do it at like 8:15. And then the script can be something like, hey, I know I just sent you an email, but I just want to, again, thank you for booking an appointment and remind you to bring da-da-da-da-da-da. So that's, again, another way that we can enhance this. Now, as long as the data is stored within the contact record, this tactic can be extended for sending reminders around any critical date. The system comes out of the box with a birthday and anniversary date on the contact record that can be used to provide world-class customer experiences. One thing to keep in mind is that although it doesn't display in the form builder with the date type field being used here, the end user will have a calendar picker available and all the normal keyboard shortcuts will work. Lastly, to minimize wasted time for missed appointments, we can include an I need to reschedule link in the reminder email and use a link like goal to create a task to reschedule. So in both of the reminder emails, you can have basically a PS link that says, hey, I need to reschedule. So if they do that, then that can simply create a task to reschedule. So that's a couple different ways that we can send appointment reminders and different modifications we can make to this kind of model. One last thing, because third-party tools are really cool, there are certain third-party plugins that can generate a humanized date to merge into the communications besides the formal month, date, year. And you can find these plugins in the Infusionsoft marketplace. In our next video, we're going to look at segmenting by last purchase date.